Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving straight into the medical reality behind one of the most wildly misunderstood transformations in all of pop culture history. For decades, and I mean literally decades, the entire globe watched a man completely change before their very eyes. And, well, in the absence of a clear medical understanding, the rumors absolutely took over. So we're going to look strictly at the facts today. We're stripping away all that tabloid noise to uncover the true story behind Michael Jackson's changing appearance.
Now, it's the massive question that captivated the world, right? Born a black child in Indiana, his appearance shifted so dramatically later in life that people everywhere started asking the exact same thing. Was Michael Jackson black or white? Honestly, it seems like a straightforward question, but the answer is incredibly complex. So let's use this exact question as our entry point. We're going to separate those swirling, sensationalized rumors from the actual documented medical facts. Let's look at the evidence.
Okay, let's dive into Section 1. Origins and early career, the unquestionable beginning.
If we map out his life, we start right in 1958. He was born in Gary, Indiana, and raised in an African-American family. Moving into the 1960s and 70s, he kickstarts his absolutely legendary career in the Jackson 5. And during this entire early period of his life, he clearly identified as black, and his appearance entirely reflected that. I mean, there is absolutely no debate about this part of his history. But notice what happens as we move into the 1980s. His skin tone gradually starts becoming lighter, and this right here is the exact moment the speculation sparks. Fast forward to the 1990s, and his facial features are visibly changing too, leading to massive, unprecedented public rumors. So we can pinpoint exactly when the shift from unquestionable origins to public mystery actually occurred.
Which brings us to Section 2, the medical reality, beyond the speculation.
You see, the public just assumed he was trying to become white simply because his skin was getting progressively lighter. But the factual reality? It's entirely different. He was actually managing a highly visible medical condition. The media's false narrative completely overshadowed what was, at its core, a deeply personal health struggle happening right out in the open.
Michael Jackson was diagnosed with vitiligo. If you aren't familiar, this is a skin condition that causes the loss of pigment. It literally creates lighter patches on the skin, and crucially, it's a condition that can spread over time. For Michael, this wasn't some overnight, instant change. The condition first became visible in the mid-1980s, which lines up perfectly with when our timeline showed the speculation beginning, right? And it continuously progressed over the years. Just imagine for a second dealing with a condition that fundamentally alters your appearance while the entire world is watching and judging.
Moving on to Section 3. Managing the condition. Why his skin looked fully light. Now you're probably wondering, if vitiligo causes uneven patches, why did he eventually end up looking uniformly light? Well, the reality of his daily life required a very specific management strategy. Step 1, the vitiligo was causing those uneven lighter patches. Now, as the biggest global performer on the planet, uneven patches are incredibly difficult to hide under harsh stage lights and constant camera flashes. So step 2, makeup and specialized skin treatments were used specifically to make his appearance more uniform. He was actively blending his skin to match the lighter patches that were spreading. Which leads us to step 3, the final result was a fully light appearance. But listen, this was an active management strategy for a medical condition. It was absolutely not a desire to change his race. He was just trying to look uniform. And throughout his life, Michael Jackson publicly and consistently stated these exact facts. He said he had vitiligo, he did not want to change his race, and he was incredibly proud of his background. These statements really didn't waver. It's so important to bring this deeply human element back into this explainer. He was telling the public the truth the whole time, but the noise of the tabloids was just so much louder than his own voice.
Now for Section 4, adding to the confusion, confounding factors.
Because honestly, it was a perfect storm for false narratives. In addition to his skin tone changing, yes, he underwent various cosmetic procedures. His facial structure undeniably changed over time. And when you combine those physical, surgical changes with the fact that back then vitiligo was barely understood by the general public, well, you have an absolute recipe for misunderstanding. People were misinterpreting his appearance entirely. Add in the intense, nonstop media speculation, and rumors just spread like wildfire, directly fueling those false narratives about his identity.
And finally, Section 5, the real answer, separating fact from fiction.
When we weigh everything side by side, the reality is crystal clear. Michael Jackson was born black, and he remained a black man his entire life. He was managing a diagnosed progressive medical condition, vitiligo, and he remained deeply proud of his African-American background. But the confusion, driven by those massive visual changes from cosmetic procedures, a total lack of public medical understanding at the time, and just immense media influence, allowed an entirely different, completely fabricated narrative to take over. All those visual changes and the intense media spotlight tragically overshadowed his unwavering identity.
Michael Jackson's appearance changed dramatically, there's no denying that, but his identity did not. Behind the sensational headlines and the endless, relentless speculation was a very real medical condition that people just didn't fully understand back then. Sometimes what we see on the outside simply doesn't tell the full story. And it really makes you think, if a massive global narrative could get the truth so profoundly wrong, what other pop culture truths are we simply accepting without looking a little deeper? Thanks for joining me for this explainer. I'll catch you next time.